Hello YouTube, welcome back to episode number 17 of Lamine's Legacy. We're just doing a live com, really, we're on the game right now. Just to sort of talk through the state of the account, where we're at. Obviously we've been missing for a couple of days. How we're going to move forward, and just a bunch of stuff like that. So the team that you're seeing in front of you is a team we've been using for a couple of days. I don't really have any gameplay to show you. I mean, I could do champs highlights from last weekend, but I find this game to be, considering it does have a higher skill gap and more of a sort of attack and feel compared to previous titles. I feel like you score rubbish goals. Like the goals aren't as nice as in previous years. I think watching someone run down the line, recycle a ball into a centre mid with Tiki to play a first time pass into your striker who turns and bury it. Like, I don't know, I feel like it's the same highlight over and over and over again, which makes things really, really boring. Um, but yeah, we're just gonna sort of go through the account live. So obviously with the team that you see in front of you, we packed this card like, I don't know, whenever the promo would have been about. It would have been from like Champs or something. Completely oblivious to the fact that it was one, an expensive card, and two, a pretty good one. It just sat in the club, and it wasn't until the 99 pace, or sort of the 99 stat upgrades came about the other day that I realized I had it. So he's found his way into the team for some games, 14 games. Can't really say too much about him. I do agree with people online that these stats are fake. Like if we go to his play styles, there's no rapid, there's no quick step, right? So it doesn't feel like 99 pace whatsoever. He does catch people up, but I was playing a game the other day with yeah, they had the Scream Rashford, the striker version. I think he has like 88 pace. And he got in front of him and he blitzed him. And obviously this card doesn't have good physical. You can see on the right hand side there, he only has 80 physical, and his strength in game then is poor as well, I believe. Right, it's only 81, so you know it's not the greatest centre back in the world, but we're using someone new, and we don't really have a left-sided centre back that we enjoy playing with at the moment. So I'm more than happy to test him out. Obviously, we've got to play with Jordi Alba a fair bit now. Yeah, I definitely do like the card. I don't think he's as good as Nuno, which we have down here on the bench. He is better than this Cucurella. Um, but yeah, happy to be using him. It's been fun to use a card like this. But if you wanted wins, I think you go Nuno Mendes. Rest of the team then is pretty standard. Been having some trouble with keepers at the moment. We were using Raya for ages and really enjoyed him, but he had an awful weekend last weekend. So we just got the Chesney. Obviously, then the typical features: Nico, Yamal, De Jong, Lorente, Koundé, similar cards. Really enjoying using Xavi and Iniesta, but that brings me on to my next point of why my idea from the last video is completely wasted. So, for those of you that haven't watched this video, the idea was that we would essentially complete Busquets, and then once he's added to the team of Alba, Xavi, Iniesta, Yamal, we would go down that focus of like the amazing Barcelona team with Xavi, Iniesta, Busquets as the midfield. We'd still use other cards. It wouldn't have to be solely Barcelona, but we'd have that core of like a old school Barcelona feel, with Xavi, Iniesta, Busquets, Albert left back. But we're not going to be able to do that for very long. We've played how many games with Xavi? 39. Good return there. 25 goal contributions, and then 39 with Iniesta for what's that? 41 goal contributions. Um, we're not going to be able to keep these cards because you may or may not have seen, but coming out tonight, I believe, on the Friday the 7th, as I record this, is 3 hours before content. We're going to be getting a promo version of Yamal. And the whole point of the series is to consistently upgrade to his best version as and when we're able to. Now, the card that's coming out is a live card with Finesse Plus. Now, instantly that gives a red flag as to whether or not we'll be even able to afford the card. I have no idea if we're actually going to be able to do it, right? So I'm not selling them just yet, just to go and buy them back, and lose tax and whatever it may be. Regardless of if these cards drop in price or don't drop in price, I'm comfortable sticking with them and dealing with the consequence of how their prices move. But when we see how much this Yamal card is, we can then think about one, whether we can get there whatsoever, right? Because if he comes out and he's, let's just say 1.5 mil, I can afford the card, right? I can just sell Iniesta, I can buy the card. If it's 2.5 mil, you know, I don't have 2.5 mil on the account, right? So we have to make a decision as to, do we gut everything, see how much we are, and then just save for a couple of weeks? We go back and use an untradeable team. We'll bring Messi in at cam, for example. We'd bring Camavinga in at CDM. We'd sell De Jong. We bring Kroos back in, who's not here at the moment, but he is in the club. We do those sort of things. Uh, or we sort of buy coins because, as I've said in other videos, the series isn't about achieving the road to glory success that used to be obviously like the idea behind these types of series. As I've said before, the Penfairs and other creators, A9 Skills, Fuji, all of them have showcased that you can get ahead and actually have a really good time on the game as a free to play player. Um, they've showed that for countless years, back to back to back. RTG at this point is more just a symbolic name for the type of series that people do, right? I have no issues with simply buying some coins if we're only a couple of 100k short. At the end of the day, the series is called an RTG, but it's Lamine's legacy, right? The goal of the account isn't to see, what team we can build with no coins spent. The team is to, or the idea of the series is to see, can we break records with this player, right? It doesn't have to be this card. It has to be this player, right? And obviously, if he's going to get a better version, we want to upgrade to that. Now, one thing that's worth noting is that the other week we actually packed him tradable from champs. I think we got 12 wins that week. Um, but we sold him, right? Because we already had this card. It was tradable, so it made no sense to hold. It would have overwritten all the stats and everything. Now, this card currently sits on the market at like 100,000 coins, maybe 110. And you can see we paid 400 for it, right? So there's coins down the toilet, essentially. Now, if we're remotely close to this promo Yamal, right, and that 100k isn't going to make a ton of difference, we will essentially immortalize this card within the club. We'll go and put World Tour on him, or we'll wait until we get the refresh on the red cards for champs wins, because mine expired. I didn't really put it on anyone. But we'll essentially go and we'll solidify his existence in our club for the whole cycle, and that way we can always refer back to these stats, right? So that's kind of the idea. Now, if we're quite some coins away, and an extra 100k added to the account would be valuable, then we'll sell the card, and we will make notes of the contributions, so they'll exist on the screen as text, right? I'll go into OBS and I'll add what I need to ensure that we are aware of how much he contributed to the series. So yeah, that's sort of where we're at, which is different from the video last week. But I suppose that's what can happen when you play in FIFA all year round. You can have an idea in your head, but content can interrupt it. Luck can interrupt it. To be honest, I really wanted with this team that you see, De Jong to become Busquets and Dybala to not exist. Right, I didn't think we'd pack a card like that, and we would have eventually got the promo Messi, and it would have essentially looked like that, and that would have been tons of fun. But your account moves in different ways, depending on luck, depending on content, and that's just how it is. I want to also talk a little bit about the state of the account away from this team, essentially, right? So we have 152,000 coins. We have 2,000 FIFA points from our pre-order bonus. We currently sit inside of our SBCs like this, okay? So we have 2 out of 5 for Busquets. We've done the 287s, which is obviously lovely. We're working on this Team of the Week 86 team here. We just need 387s. And then we have what we need in these types of ratings in order to complete the other squads. We just don't have these 87 cards. And I think if I'm being transparent, we have a Lumberg in the account that we packed from some sort of objective. Yeah, there we go. He's untradeable. I don't care about keeping this card, right? Even longer term for gauntlets and stuff. I'm happy enough to use him. So it looks more so like this, right? We need essentially two 87s, and then we'll need 3 in the other 2 squads, which obviously takes us up to 8 87s we need. Now, I think that's going to come in at like 90,000 coins. So we may have to spend 90,000 coins to complete Busquets, unless we can find some packs to open from somewhere, right? We still have 5 days, so another set of champs rewards. but I don't see a world where we're able to do this for very cheap, right? It is going to have around about 100,000 coin outlay. Then, as far as the storage and things goes within this club at the moment, there is very little, right? You can see we have a handful of 84 and we have a singular 86, and then we're straight into 81s. And if I go to the club and I turn the loans off and get us all the way to gold raise, you'll see that we don't really have, well, we don't have 83s, right? We just don't. There might be a handful, right? We got two there. We've got two there, two on the left of Ball Day. We're not going to use Chevalier. So we have 4 cards. Not going to use Ball Day. So we can't rinse these 85 to 87s, right? We're not packing the cards. Now, I don't have a ton of time to be on the game from a menu perspective, right? I mean, in previous years, I don't really play the menu too much, but I will do upgrades and things like that. But this year we're not able to. I don't have the time to get on the account. And I'm not, when I'm on the account, I'm not sat here doing the, dailies. As you can see, that we haven't done any. We're not sat here doing the league SBCs. We haven't done any, right? We're not doing these things, and so we only really open packs from gauntlets, objectives, rivals, and champs, right? There's only 4 ways in which we open packs, and you'd be surprised how little sort of cards that we get in the club as a result of that. So yeah, we're gonna have a bit of a spend on those cards there. And just out of curiosity, we'll do it live. Let's take a look at Xavi and Iniesta, right? We're Friday, around the 3 o'clock mark. These cards aren't going to be at their peak price right now. Okay, there's going to be a ton of undercuts and a ton of selling going into content. So you can see like 558. That's a really cheap price on Xavi. These sort of 570s, 580s, that's more of his standard price, right? I paid 586. Okay, he was 600k last night. Now these types of cards are gonna get sold, and they're gonna get sort of there's gonna be like a mini panic sell essentially, right? Everyone's gonna be undercutting each other because there's a massive promo today. Now this card again, like that's an amazing price. That should get bought. That should get bought. This is a 1.4 mil card. Yeah, it fluctuates underneath, right? But that's a 1.4 mil card on a high fluctuation, and you're having a practically 100k undercut. Like if you want to use or test the card, that's the price you get in at, right? That is a lovely price. If we had the coins, I would probably buy that. But yeah, you can see 1.37, 1.38, 1.4. Like those are the sort of prices that you're picking them up for, and that's what we're going to try and offload at to try and limit our tax burdens. If we go back to the squad, we have a 586 price there, and we have a 1.339 on Iniesta. So, we got them at reasonable prices at this stage in the game. But they're not going to be big enough undercuts as for to us to profit, for lack of a better phrase, but enough for us to not get completely killed unless the 60s or something special that's coming in the game today is going to be very high pack weight, and essentially a ton of people are gonna get those cards. It could work though in our favor if those cards are high value and tradable. Essentially, we get a nice coin injection. You'd be surprised at what the impact that will be on cards like Iniesta and Xavi. So that's kind of interesting. But yeah, we're going to see how that goes. And then the final thing for us to talk about in this video, which is a bit of a big one. We are doing something in Rivals that is kind of shameful, but I don't really care, to be honest. So if you go into my Rivals here, you'll see we're in Division 5 right now. One win takes us into Division 4, but we're actually going to continue to relegate past this checkpoint up to around this checkpoint, right? We're going to sort of get to this level here that we're hovering over. Now you may have known or may have seen from, maybe it's in the commentary in the YouTube, or maybe it's just TikTok, but we were in Division 3 and we got Division 3 rewards this week. We were somewhere around here, one of these 3 ranks, I believe. But Rivals is such a horrific, boring, useless experience that I just got no interest in being there, right? We finished Division 1 last season. Finished Division 1, and like, I think past the first. So once I got to about Division 3, I think I primarily played co-op because it just became stale to play solo, so to speak. And yeah, like I had to get my wins in Division 3 last week. Played some co-op, played some solo, and it was just not fun in either. It was just an awful experience. The game's so repetitive, and don't get me wrong, that's not new to FC26. It's far from new, right? 4-2-1-3 was everywhere last year. But we've hit the stage in the game now where the first FC Pro openers have been played. And ultimately, from this point forward, everything will be molded around what these players use, right? We've already sort of seen the 4-5-1 takeover before that event. We saw the Peanut takeover before that event, but now you will see the complete molding of all divisions around how they play, right? It's just replication, replication, replication. Now, one thing that you may have noticed or may have seen online is that Valverde as a right back was the most selected option amongst FC Pro players. I have not played against a Valverde at right back yet, right? Now, don't get me wrong, it's a 200k card, probably not going to see him that much anyway. But I've played tons of teams that have had the value to be able to afford a 200k right back, and they haven't. They've gone with Lorente. Some have played Koundé out there. Some have used Frimpong, the odd Hakimi. Now you will see Valverde at all right back positions, simply because that was done in the event, right? Same with the 4-5-1. You do play Reinders and De Jong all of the time, right? But you're going to continue to play them. Whatever card gets used in that tournament and by these players are now going to trickle down into all divisions, and it's only amplified as you go up the divisions, right? So, as I've been relegating, I have essentially been giving out free wins to players that use cool and unique teams, and I've been insta quitting on those that just use boring 4-5-1 teams, right? But I think I didn't give a single win in Division 3. I think in Division 4, I probably gave out 3 wins. 3 wins. I played a Chelsea past and present team. I played, like, I can't remember what team it was, right? But it was like a terrible team, but an Evo team, like a Burnley team or something. It was, respect to it. Might be like Southampton or something, but it was cool. It was unique. Like, I respected it. Um, and the teams overall are more spread out in the player selection, the formation selection. In Division 3, it was identical every single game, right? The only difference would be whether or not they could afford or have packed a Bon Mati. But yeah, I'd rather play with a bit of variety, and I'm trying to take my account into that variety in order to not be too hypocritical, right? But when you look at the rewards difference here, right? So look at Division 5 rewards for a second. Let's look at the reward upgrade, right? If you look at the player picks, one of 380 plus untradeable, one of 382 plus, two of them tradable, one of 384 plus untradeable, a mega pack, a 1075, and a 15,000 coin, a reward, right? That's 5. Now, if we go across to 4, okay, nothing changes in the player picks, nothing changes in the mega pack. You do miss out on, what's that, 3,000 coins? But nothing changes in here, right? Nothing changes in here. Let me just go back to double check that I'm not being silly, right? Yeah, nothing changes, right? And then if you go to Division 3, which I have to go down quite far for, there is some better rewards, right? So you have an 81 plus instead of an 80 plus here. You have an 83 plus instead of an 82 plus here. And the 84 plus remains the same. Your mega pack becomes tradable, which I will say is valuable because you typically do get a hunter or a shadow, and that's 5,000 coins. And then you miss out on an 83 plus team of the week, which I'm going to make a statement here. You miss out on a 83 team of the week player, not an 83 plus, right? And then a couple of thousand coins. Now, to me, the caliber and player between 3 and 4 is reasonable, right? Division 3 is kind of hard. Division 4, kind of easy. Like, that's how big the gap is. Division 5 is like, you do well to lose more than 2 or 3 games in a week of rivals in Division 5. But I'm comfortable with a 5k deduction and a team of the week player, right? I'm okay with that. The real value in rivals rewards genuinely comes from whether or not you get lucky in these player picks. The rest of it's useless, right? It's all luck based. So I'd rather just get the games done with my time being spent on the account being minimal. I don't really care about the rewards difference. Until they change, I just don't see the point, right? And I especially don't see the point between 4 and 5. For me, that's not a difference. When I was thinking about what I was doing, it was either stay in 3 or it was relegate to 5. And I have no intention of staying in 3. And so 4 becomes absolutely pointless, and we just go back to 5. But yeah, I think that's all I really wanted to discuss. It's like 20-minute recording at the moment. I just wanted to give an account update because, again, I don't really know what gameplay to show. It's really boring at the moment on the game. Um, Feels really repetitive and that sort of thing. But yeah, that was an update video. If you haven't watched some of the other videos in the series, then go ahead and do so. I'd appreciate if you came and checked out the stream. The streams is more entertaining just because we'll actually, play live, we'll mess around, we'll try and have some fun. But yeah, this video, just an informative one, not meant to be an entertaining one, just to provide an update on the account. If you are interested in watching the series, watching it develop, you're seeing how we get on, then please subscribe to the channel. It will be a massive help. Please leave a like on this video or any of the videos you've watched if you just want to support a creator. I know this video isn't particularly great, but it would help me out. So if you're feeling generous, then go ahead and do so. But I will see you in the next video at some time next week. What I will do is I'll make an effort to actually get some fun and entertaining gameplay, even if we do a full live com or something. So something to actually get a bit of interest going on the series. But yeah, expect more videos soon, and I will see you in the next one. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.